What is up, Rumpier fam? Happy Saturday. Welcome back to our DFS and Bets College Football Showdown slate. I am joined by Dunkel and Snyder. How are you guys doing? How was your Thanksgiving, Black Friday? Fill me in.
Snyder, I'll let you answer first because your answer is probably more legal than mine. You could probably answer first.
The Thanksgiving was good and whatnot. Black Friday was pretty good. I mean, watched that Nebraska game yesterday. I mean, that was just like a car crash. You knew it was coming in slow motion. We get up big at half, and then you just felt like it was coming in the second half, and all of a sudden, block punt for a touchdown, fumble the ball right there. Iowa's up 7 points before we know it hit us, and just another game for Nebraska like it's been all year. What are we? We're 9-3, and the point total, like points given up and points scored, is like neutral, which I've never seen before. So that's kind of crazy. But yeah, I went out with some friends and last night, got some food, got some drinks, and here ready to talk about this college slate with you guys today. I'm pumped to finally do a show here with Allie and Dunkel again. Ready to go.
Yeah, nice. I mean, I'm hoping Snyder we can make this a weekly thing through the end. I mean, we've got a bunch of bowl games coming up. In the near future.
Yeah.
Anyway. So yeah, hopefully that'll be good. As for me, I had a wedding yesterday, so my voice is a little raspy. But outside of that, we're here. Yeah, I'm looking forward to talking this slate. I mean, yesterday I go 1-1, and then obviously it's not with the painful Nebraska loss. So hoping we kick it back today. We'll have a few more picks again, and then Snyder will talk through some DFS as well. So yeah, ultimately looking forward to it.
All right, so then let's dive into it.
Yeah, why not? We can keep waiting though if you want.
Yeah. All right. Well, since we are ready, Dunkel, Liberty hosts Army today, and I know you have a play here. Liberty is -3.5, total 52.5. What are you thinking?
Yeah. So this is a line I just don't understand. I don't know why Liberty's not closer to 7 here. And believe it or not, the 3.5 number has actually been a decent bet for us this season. I know 3.5 is not a popular play because obviously you're past the hook number of 3. But look, this is Hugh Freeze. This is a good Liberty team that's coming off their worst game of the year, and a game that definitely shouldn't have lost the way they did. So I think you're going to get that hungry aspect from them. Hugh Freeze just signed his big extension. If you're into that narrative side of things, I just think Liberty's a much better team. And the issue with Army is, of course they're going to run the triple option. If they're going to have success with it today, yeah, they're likely going to win this game. But my thing is Hugh Freeze is no stranger to seeing the triple option. Not that he was seeing it every year, even when he was coaching the SEC, but Liberty has very good players, and they have very good speed defensively, and they're very good against the run. And I think offensively, they're just so much better. Like you look at the advanced numbers of both these teams, yards per play, points per play, offense, defense. Liberty's just so much better. So look, for me, this line should be closer to 7. I get it. These two teams have the same record. But this line to me says that these two are very close on a neutral, and I just don't have it that way. So for me, yeah, I mean, it's never fun laying the number past 3. But Liberty -3.5 versus Army. Love it as one of my best bets. It's an early start game as well. And you know what the shame of it is, Snyder? To me, this would have been a good game for DFS because I think Liberty really piles on points today. I know Army's defense is decent, and I know they slow the game down, but they don't see a lot of offenses like Liberty's. And I think that Liberty scores a ton today. It's a shame that they never put their games on the slate. That's why I was surprised yesterday when I saw Air Force on the slate. And I don't even know, I think somebody from that game had to have won somebody a tournament, right? That running back for Air Force had a huge game.
Yeah, I think he was up there for sure. I had a sweat on FanDuel. I was sitting right up there, but I had that wrong running back from Arkansas. The rest of my guys just went off, and I was in first and second for a while, but I got sniped in that. Ended up being that Emory guy from North Carolina State, that receiver that ended up coming up and sniping me and ended up finishing like 6th or 7th, but still a pretty solid day. But yeah.
It's profit's profit, but that's always whenever those are like the worst sweats when you're close to the top or at the top, and then you get taken down by the knees.
I got like 2 points out of my running back from Arkansas, which is brutal.
But as far as DFS today, Snyder,
Yes.
What's the strategy today?
I think we need to keep looking at this Purdue game. I mean, Aiden O'Connell is still underpriced. I mean, he's just been putting up 30-plus points every game, it seems, for the past 3 or 4 weeks. I think we need to target him. David Bell is going to be the most popular receiver on the slate. 7.3K. I mean, he's just been seeing double-digit targets, game in, game out, 100-plus yards in his last 3 games. It's kind of been on the wrong side of touchdown variance, too, this year. He's only got 2 touchdowns this year, but I could see that flopping the other way, and he could come in with a monster game here. Just a great plays, 14, 16, 17, 16 targets in his last 4 games. Another guy we were on last week was Milton Wright. He had that huge game for us, 50-point game for us. His price tags came up a little bit, but his targets just continue to rise these last few weeks. I think he's a good double to go with Aiden O'Connell for that game stack. So that's the main game I'm going to be looking to stack up here. I can get on some values and some other guys as we get going.
Cool, love it, Allie. We got a nice little comment from our boy Chwati. Apparently, he's a fan of Penn State.
I love it.
What's your thoughts on that game today?
Oh boy! So, if it weren't for Michigan State having COVID, the flu, whatever you want to call it, I would say having Penn State be a favorite is kind of crazy. But they're gonna be up without possibly 20 players. 6 to 8 of them could be their starters. So. I think it could be looking good for the Nittany Lions.
We saw this last year. I don't know if you remember, Snyder, where like you saw a lot of weird line movement, like late week, and then it got even weirder on game day. And then like on game day, you started seeing announcements like what Allie's mentioning. And then it's just a matter of like crossing your fingers. If you actually bet the game, crossing your fingers that it's not anybody relevant. The problem is if there's going to be 6 to 8 starters out from a continuity perspective, I could see why the line is what it is. But the problem is, like, what if it comes out where it's only 6 starters and like, you know, it's a guy they bring in on dime packages on defense. Like if it's something like that, then it's not going to matter at all. But I don't know. I mean, the check and answer as well. I haven't seen any like official names being released yet. And they did this shit last year with COVID too, like right before game time. Everything got kind of mentioned then. But I don't mind the take, Chwati. I think I've liked what I've seen from Michigan State's offense. But again, to me, it's not going to matter. What I will say is that James Franklin got his big extension, and I've morphed myself into such an anti-Franklin guy. But, you know, at the same time, I get it. He does keep them relevant in the Big Ten, and that's a tough conference. I mean, Scott Frost with you, Snyder, is dealing with the same shit. So, you know, at least he keeps them relevant. To me, he's not the answer. He's lost so many of these big games, and God forbid he loses. If Michigan State rules out like 6 legitimate starters today that mean a lot to them, and he still finds a way to lose this game, that would not be a good look for him. But you like the idea of them keeping Franklin, right?
So, you know, I was a little weary on it, but like I mentioned to you earlier, Franklin's got a top 3 recruiting class coming in next year. So you read things like that, but then he's having the season he has. We're not even in the top 25. Like Penn State's playing today to get a spot in the top 25. And, you know, so I don't even know how I feel about him.
Yeah, and Troy brings up a good point that he's a great recruiter. I just don't think he's an X's and O's guy, and I think that type of stuff shows up in a lot of the games. That fake field goal he ran from the 2-yard line was like one of the dumbest shit I've ever seen. Like I don't understand. Just go for it on 4th and 2. Whatever. I guess we could talk.
I think the passing game in this is going to be critical for Penn State winning here. Michigan State's pass defense is pretty bad, and I think Sean Clifford, it looks like he's going to play. He looks like he's getting more healthy, and I actually like Jahan Dotson and Parker Washington some for DFS as well in like a stack if you're going to stack that game up. I do prefer Parker Washington a little bit more to Jahan Dotson as he's about half the price, and the last couple of games he's shown some pretty good consistency. So that's the way I would look to attack the Penn State offense from a DFS side.
I think Michigan State will need a strong ground game against the Lions to help out their offense, limit field time, definitely. But I don't know.
And I guess we could also talk a little bit on the favorite game of the week, right? Which will be Ohio State and Michigan in general. Obviously Michigan's getting a decent amount of love today, and I get it. Like the team that beat this Ohio State team was Oregon, team that runs the football well and plays good defense, which is what Michigan can do. And they get pressure only rushing 4. I don't know how Ohio State's less than 7 here or 7-ish here. I won't bet it because I don't like betting these marquee games, but I know Harbaugh loses these games every year. To his credit, though, he's won a few of them. He beat Wisconsin this year, and he beat Penn State. He shouldn't have beat Penn State, though, with how that game played out. But, look, it'll be a big win for Harbaugh if he can somehow pull it out. I think it would be a shame, though, if Ohio State lost, because I truly believe them and maybe Bama are the only 2 teams that could potentially do anything to Georgia. So if Ohio State loses today, I mean, they're likely going to be out of the championship game. But I guess we'll see what happens. But, Snyder, what's your thoughts? Because that's on the DFS slate too, right?
I think I like Ohio State in this game quite a bit, the passing game. But I think I would look to, CJ Stroud's price up to 10K. I think that's a little bit too much on this slate. So I'm looking to attack this Ohio State as like a secondary stack. I still like stacking up 2 of these 3 stud receivers. All 3 of them have just been great the last 3, 4, 5 weeks, pretty much the whole season for Garrett Wilson. Jackson Smith, Njigba has been coming on as of late, and I've seen stories about him actually being the most talented of all the 3. So I think his price tag came down a little bit, and the other 2 have came up. All 3 are right around in that mid to upper 7K range. So if I'm playing like a Purdue stack and I have some value running backs, I don't mind throwing in Garrett Wilson or JSN with that, or going Olave and Wilson or something like that to get exposure to this. I do think that they're going to have success in this game. We've got a 64.5 point total in this, so that points are going to be scored here. They're sitting with a 5 touchdown implied team total again. It just comes down to, is Trevion Henderson going to get the touchdowns, or are they going to continue to come through the air? And so that's kind of how I'm looking to attack this game. I don't really have any conviction on any of these Michigan guys. They kind of spread the ball around a little bit too much. Hassan Haskins would be the guy I would look to. He's seen the majority of the rushing attempts. And Ohio State's been fairly good against the run, though. They're only giving up about 103 yards a game to the running backs. So pretty much just Ohio State pass catchers for me in this game.
That's interesting because I look at some of this. I know it might sound silly, Snyder, but McNamara's price in this game, if Michigan's going to win this game, it's not going to be because Haskins runs for 400 yards. He's going to have a decent game. So if you like Michigan today to win, McNamara at his price on DraftKings is to me, a nice little sneaky option. I can't imagine he's going to see super high ownership, especially with some of these other bigger totals and bigger games. Bigger games in the DFS.
It's so tough to stack him up with other guys. I'm looking down at the targets that these receivers have had. There's 6-7 guys that are seeing, in between 2 to 7 targets. So it's really hard to pinpoint one guy. Cornelius Johnson looks like the one guy I would target. He's seen 7.5 targets on average, but he's only receiving 49 yards a game. It's tough to get upside from these guys, I feel. But I definitely like the take there.
So a few things I have a question on. Chase Brown, Illinois running back. His ownership's got to be ridiculous today, right? At 58.
Yeah, I think he's my favorite running back of the slate. I think he's in a smash spot here. Just Northwestern's just been terrible against the run game. They're giving up 232 yards on average to the running backs, and Chase Brown should just smash these guys. I don't mind even playing both of these running backs. You got Evan Hall there too. Illinois is giving up 154 yards on the ground a game. He's got a steady workload too, and he's put up 24 plus points in 3 of his last 4 games. So I don't mind playing both of these running backs as well on this slate.
Cool. And there was some big news in the Run Pure crew. Allie got herself a brand new television.
Oh yeah,
I did.
And
I don't have room for it, but.
And after discussion, she's going to put it on our dining room table because that's what the alphas do. But it's nice. You buy anything for Black Friday?
Who's that, me?
Did you buy anything?
No, I didn't make any purchases yesterday. I usually wait until Monday, and I get suckered in on all these Cyber Monday deals.
Okay, you're a Cyber Monday guy. That's fair.
It's easier.
What about you?
Insane, so I don't blame you for waiting for Cyber Monday.
Yeah. Avoid all the crowds and just sit here in the office and fire away. What about you, JJ?
I got a tie on Black Friday. One tie. I was told I had to match my wife's dress at the wedding, so I got a tie that matched her dress. That was
what a gentleman.
That was my life. That was my life yesterday. Yeah.
Was it at least on sale?
No. That tie was not. Somehow on Black Friday, I felt like I paid max dollar for a tie. I think that was whatever. Okay, so Santa, do you have a bet you like today? I feel like the Nebraska bet was a really good look yesterday. I couldn't believe it.
Oh yeah. Here, let me look. You can slide over to Allie or something if she has a bet.
I have a.
Sorry, you're right. I know you have Colorado State and Nevada. Nevada's -3.5, total 57.5. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, I mean, I guess so my numbers have this at pick, which makes 3.5 an auto fire. Yeah, I know Colorado State, like you watch this team and they're not fun to watch, but like when you break down their numbers, I mean, this team is actually very, very comparable to Nevada. I know Nevada gets the decent amount of love. They typically have a good offense, and then they run a bit of an up-tempo game as well. And look, they're 7-4. These two teams also have had similar strength of schedules. Colorado State's issue has been their inability to actually close games out. And the thing is like I look at some of their home losses, and like they're not terrible losses. Like Air Force is pretty good, and Colorado State has no chance versus a triple option. Outside of that, like at home, I guess their Vanderbilt loss and their original non-D1 loss to start the year. And I know that they've lost 5 in a row. But man, like Nevada is a team. I don't know how anybody can trust this team. Like they let Air Force literally run all over them. The San Diego State loss I thought was one they could have had but didn't. And now they play Colorado State in a game that doesn't really mean much to Nevada. I mean, they're going to be bowl eligible regardless. To me, I look at it as when you break this game down in terms of numbers, yards per play, offense, defense, points per play on both ends, along with a lot of ancillary stats as well. Just have these two teams equal. So they're both equal, or maybe Nevada's a little better. I just think it's all perception based. Like Nevada's won some of their closer, some more of their closer games. They've also had a few of the easier opponents in division, and they're out of conference schedule's been blah to say the least. So yeah, two teams reeling. I just think this number doesn't even make any sense. Like to me, this should be pick'em. Maybe even Nevada like a -1 ish. 3.5 to me is a little silly. So yeah, I like Colorado State plus the 3.5. I got that -120. So hold on. So Colorado State. And look, do yourself a favor. Don't watch this game. Colorado State is a tough team to watch. But hopefully, 3 hours after the game starts, hopefully your account will have a little more money in it. But yeah, Colorado State is tough to watch very often. But I like them in this spot versus Nevada. I know it's a late game too, 9 o'clock, I think. Colorado State plus 3.5.
I found the winner if you want.
You can even sprinkle on the money line too if you guys want. But 3.5 is the number. It's a key spot. Yes, Snyder, fire away.
We got LSU here. Was this Ed Orgeron's last game at home? We got Jimbo Fisher on the road. Jimbo kind of sometimes seems to disappoint in these big games on the road. I think Big Ed's going to have his guys ready to go here. They're getting I'm seeing 6 points at home here in this final home game. I don't know if they can win this game, but I think they're definitely going to play tough in this game and try and send Ed out on a W here. So I like the points in LSU here in this game.
Awesome.
Do you have any thoughts on that, JJ?
So, I really don't because they're playing A&M, right? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, cozy on my end as far as how I feel. I will say this: I think Ed Orgeron is on the same fence as Gene Chizik, in that they're not very good head coaches.
Yeah.
Like Gene Chizik had his one miracle year when Cam Newton was in Auburn. Outside of that, he's been a below average coach his entire career. I think the same thing with Ed Orgeron. I mean, he's a tough guy not to like, right? I mean, he's fiery. He's very easy to like for fans. But you take away that miracle season where LSU had 25 draft picks, and he's done really nothing his entire coaching career.
Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Joey B. I mean,
yeah, they had the Randy Moss's kid as tight end. Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I mean, then they had like 3 or 4 starters. Then they had 3 or 4 first 3-round picks on their defense. It was just an unbelievable team. But since then, he hasn't been near the same. This is a spot though where I think they could definitely catch A&M napping. So I like the spot plus the points. Them at home, want to go out because like I said, just because I don't think he's a great coach, I think he's a good guy, and I think a lot of his players like him. So I think at minimum, there's a narrative there that they'll want to go out and play for him on his last game. I like that look. I think somebody asked Baylor, Texas Tech. Now, Snyder, I know that I'm pretty sure that game's in the DFS slate, right?
Correct. Yeah. For this Baylor team, I kind of like both of these running backs. I lean to Tristan Ebner as my favorite guy in this game. He's almost half the price. He's 4.4K versus the 7.2K of Abram Smith. They've been kind of splitting work. Abram Smith seeing probably 65% of the carries to Ebner's, but Ebner's been seeing a spike in his pass game usage the last couple of games. So I like Ebner as the value guy because we're going to want to jam in some of these other high-priced guys, at the receiving position at the quarterbacks. So I like Ebner quite a bit in this game as a value piece. For the quarterback side, you could look at like Gary Bohannon, 7.1K. He's been pretty solid this year. Thornton, solid receiver, 7K. He's just priced in the range where I like other guys more than him. We got David Bell right there. We got Keaton Thomas right there. Thompson, I think he's going to this Keaton Thompson from Virginia, he's just been a stud lately. He's just been crushing, just game in, game out, brings his lunch pail to work and just clocks in, puts up 20, 30 points every game. And they got a team total of 35, so I like him as well in there. But, yeah, I like the running backs for Baylor in this game.
I tell you what, and I'm glad you brought up Virginia because Armstrong came back last week. And, I mean, look how much different this offense looks with him playing. I mean, I know they lost by Pitt, but they lost by Pitt because they gave up 50 on defense. But they went from looking terrible for a few games to at least like a real offense again. I always like him. I think that Virginia's defense is terrible, Snyder. So I do think that even Virginia Tech, I don't think they're going to be sneaky, but I think that you should definitely have some target ownership from the Tech side of things because these prices are fair in my opinion. And somebody's going to go off in this game on Tech because somebody goes off every game against Virginia.
Oh, yeah. They're giving up nearly 500 yards a game to the offenses. So it's kind of tough to pinpoint these guys as well, like especially from the running back position side. Burmeister, I guess that's the quarterback, so you could target him. He's seeing about 25% of the market share running the ball. He doesn't really pass the ball much through the air. He's only averaging 165 yards passing per game, but definitely think you could go with him for the rushing upside. And Blackshear's a guy that we had 2 rushing attempts last week, it looks like. He must have got hurt. I need to look into that a little bit more. Connor Blurmek saw 18 carries last week. From the receiving side on Virginia Tech, Trey Turner is the top guy with Trayvon Robinson right behind him.
Awesome. And then Chwadi once again likes his boys from Pitt to go over 34.5. I find it odd that they just continue to hang that similar number for them. And week in, week out, it feels like Pickett carries them over that number.
Interesting thing with Pitt there. Pitt's not on the DraftKings main slate, but he's on the FanDuel main slate. I think he's Pickett and Jordan Addison are just smash targets over there on FanDuel today, and will be on the DraftKings late slate.
And Socratar, so Kent State, Miami, Ohio. I tell you what, people just love the MAC. Like no matter what, like it doesn't like it's a Saturday. There's a lot of decent games. People just love betting this conference. So this game for me though, the reason why I stayed away, this line shifted to Miami, Ohio being favored, and that was actually where I had it. So it's not a viable play for me. So Miami, Ohio is going to try to slow Kent State down. They play super fast, obviously, but Miami, Ohio is like, believe it or not, pound for pound, like one of the best offenses in this conference. They just play slow, yards per play. This team just pounds the ball offensively, whether it's through the air, running the football. And I think if they take that slow approach, they're a more efficient offense than Kent State, and they're a better defense than Kent State. My issue though is when Kent State gets rolling, they're a top. Like I've only bet against them I think once this year, and I did not feel good about it. To me, Kent State's not a fun team to bet against because of how quickly they can score and how quickly they can make up deficits. But yeah, if I was betting the game, I definitely would be betting Miami, Ohio, just because again, pound for pound, Miami Ohio's better offense and a better defense. I know they're on the road, but like I said, what steered me away was Kent State's offense. If they were to go up a few scores here, I do have some concerns on Miami Ohio's ability to come back. But ultimately, if I was betting it, though, I would be betting Miami Ohio. Okay, well, I know we're 3 minutes away from the first game in lock. If nobody else has any more questions, you guys got a busy afternoon planned, you two?
Penn State at 3:30. That will take up some time for me.
What about you, Snyder? Just chill and watching the games?
Yeah, I'm just gonna chill, watch some games. Might go hang out with some friends later on, tonight. Might get some dinner or something. Yeah, pretty much just gonna watch these games early on though. Might go to the gym. Pretty easy day.
Wow.
There you go, Snyder.
Energy.
There you go. Saturday energy.
I was thinking of going up to the casino. I like to hang in the sports lounge up there. So
nice.
Sports betting on.
Which casino were you at by?
So I'm in Pennsylvania. It's called Mohegan Sun.
Oh my God. Yeah, I've actually been there before. Is that the? I'm trying to think. Is that the one? Maybe I'm thinking of New York. Is that the one where it looks like the devil watches it? Like it's all red at the front? Am I thinking of the right place?
Yes.
It's like I think I pulled up there like 4 years ago. It was just all red and black. I'm like, there's no fucking chance anybody wins money here. It just looks like you're walking into. It looks like you're walking into hell.
Well, the sports lounge is kind of new.
The sports lounge probably. I was there at the casino years ago.
Okay, it's like nice. It's just like fun. Like you have all the massive TVs, the nice big chairs. It's like a fun spot to watch.
Hell yeah! I've got to drive about an hour and 15 minutes to find the nearest casino for me.
Well, this one's like 35 for me. But
that ain't bad.
No, it's not that bad.
No, not bad at all. Yeah, so other than that, guys, wish you all the best of luck with all your bets. Ali Snyder, thanks for joining me to talk a little bit of this stuff as well. As always, folks, gamble responsibly, stay safe, and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks again.